Hey everybody, going to do a recap here looking at some US tickers MJNA, CBIS, GRNH, HEMP, and AMMJ. Before we get into it, a couple things. First off, there is the first ever New York Stock Exchange IPO of a marijuana company. That is occurring in 13 days on November 22nd. The ticker is IIRP. I've been waiting for this for 6 years. I've been doing research, reading the filings. This weekend, I'm going to be putting together pretty much a preparation video with the research, looking at the team, looking at the company, looking at how to trade IPOs and how to establish a game plan going forward. We're also going to have a live stream covering that trading day when it goes live, and we'll have a chat room on there as well. So I encourage you to check it out. It's going to be on mjipo.com. We're just setting up the site now, and that video will be made available this weekend. Also, if you've been watching my videos, this sell the news that we saw today is not a surprise. I'm not here to tout my ego or any of that. I think a strong characteristic of a good trader is a lack of ego, but it's just looking at experience. This exact same thing happened in 2012, 4 years ago. I got all kinds of hate mail, people swearing at me, saying what I was doing was borderline criminal. And all you have to do is look back at 2012, and people told me I was stupid for doing that. But you have to understand the psychology of what's going on here. We can't assume that we're smarter than the market. Everybody is getting in before the election. Everybody sees the polls, sees what the outcome is going to be. Now, I know you're going to say, well, the polls said this about Trump, but in my history, I've been watching marijuana polls for 6 years, and they are very accurate. And we knew the results before they came out, just like the market did. This past 2 weeks was the market pricing in the reaction and the votes passing. So who in their right mind is going to be buying after the fact? Think about it. You have people loading for weeks, and people are going to be trying to sell on that news. Buyers are going to be completely evaporated because anybody that knew anything was already in, and only some unfortunate suckers were buying today. So let's get into the charts. MJNA. We had an initial move to the upside. We rejected from the upper Bollinger Band just like we did 3 days ago, and then we sold off. But it's not all hope lost. These names, if you've been watching my videos and looking back at the history, some names perform after the vote, most don't. We are going to see likely some stagnant trading for the next 3 months. That's what happened last time. And we will see these stocks come to life again. This is not game over. But as a trader, you want to be out of these positions, in my opinion, at this point. So we do have support. We bounced off the middle Bollinger Band of 12 cents. We are still maintaining higher lows. That low back here was 10 cents. We formed a low today of 11.1. We are on the verge of a bearish MACD cross, and if we lose this middle Bollinger Band on the daily, it's going to be a big red flag. You want to be updating this level every day at the start of trading and watching what it is, and if we close below that level, we're looking down at 10 cents and then down at 7.8. Weekly time frame, big bearish reversal candlestick last week, and we're still holding the upper Bollinger Band and the 200-week moving average support here at 12 cents a piece. If we were to close below those levels by the end of this week over the next 2 trading days, that would be a big red flag as well, because that would mean we're losing the daily middle Bollinger Band and that we're losing these weekly support levels as well, and we would look to consolidate. Keep in mind, we have gone from 4 cents to up 20 cents. We're seeing 500% moves in 2 months. This is the vote being priced in. This is the states passing being priced in. And now that has occurred, and these tickers are going to be looking for catalysts from here on out, and it's going to be tough to find those catalysts. CBIS, high of the day was at the open. We dumped. We did bounce. There is a lower wick maintaining the middle Bollinger Band support. Same story here. We have a tight range where we have our high, the low of consolidation, lower high, and now a higher low. So the tightening range is between 0.045, and that recent high of 0.0707. Same story here. We've got the bearish MACD. If we lose this middle Bollinger Band, we're looking at 0.045 and then down to 0.0358. Same thing. You need to update this middle Bollinger Band at the open each day. Losing that level is a red flag. Weekly time frame, upper Bollinger Band is 0.0554. If we close below that level this week, we lose breakout mode on the weekly, and we're going to look for further consolidation. The 200-week moving average is 0.0505, and closing below that level would be very bearish on the week. 2 trading days left to go. Going to be a very important 2 days. GRNH is the weakest out of those 3 so far. And that is because we now have a lower high and a lower low. Same thing where the high of the day was pretty much where we opened, and we saw a big time dump. We did bounce off the 50-day moving average support, but GRNH gave the red flag a while ago. We had the bearish MACD cross 10 days ago. We lost the middle Bollinger Band 3 days ago, and you see those other two names still holding their middle Bollinger Band. So GRNH is behind the game in terms of losing that level. So the 50-day moving average is a must hold of 0.078. And then we've got the low of today, 0.07. Weekly time frame not looking nearly as bullish. We turned that 200-week into support. We lost it. We back tested it and rejected. And now we're back testing it and rejecting again this week. 10-week moving average support is still holding. But we are very clearly consolidating for the past couple of weeks. And the hype is gone now. You have to think to yourself, what is going to be the catalyst that's going to cause a surge in buying? You don't want to be in a position where you're hoping for news to come out, and that can leave you holding the bag for quite some time. News will be a catalyst for some individual names, but you don't want to be sitting around waiting for news to come out to try and save your position. Hemp, need to zoom in a little bit to get rid of that big lower wick that's screwing up the chart. So hemp too has a lower high and now a lower low. Big bearish day, increase in bearish volume, closed down near the low. We lost the middle Bollinger Band. A very bearish break from a tightening pattern. We've got 0.032 and 0.031, the 50 and 100-day moving average. Then we're looking at the low of this consolidation, 0.0299. But if we look at the weekly chart for hemp, we clearly started losing some steam. This is an inside candlestick. I'll zoom in here again. It's an inside candlestick pattern. And what an inside candlestick is when the range of the candlestick fits completely within the range of the previous candlestick, and then you use that inside candlestick's range to dictate the direction. So if we had broken 0.0505, the high of last week, we would be looking for this week to be bullish. Because we broke 0.036, it's going to be a bearish week. We do still have middle Bollinger Band and 10-week moving average support of 0.0326 and 0.031. Those are must-hold levels for the bulls. If we lose those, we are back to having all moving averages as resistance on the weekly time frame, and we're just clinging on to our last two daily moving average supports. But hemp has already made the bearish break, as GRNH has. Last, we've got AMMJ, by far the most bullish. Look at this very strong uptrend. It was definitely a sell the news, another example where the high of the day was the open, but we're maintaining higher lows. We're maintaining the middle Bollinger Band of 116. The higher low pattern is down at 111 and a clear lower high. So we have a tightening range where there's our high, our consolidation low, lower high, higher low. And if we see a break of 210, it's bullish. And if we see a break of 111, it is bearish. We need to keep an eye on the bearish MACD cross here as well. Big red flag if we lose the middle Bollinger Band. You need to update that level each morning at the open and see what it is. And the weekly time frame is forming a bearish reversal candlestick, but we are still in breakout mode above the upper Bollinger Band as long as we can close above 126 this week. So AMMJ out of the 5 is the most bullish. MJNA and CBIS trying to cling on to their middle Bollinger Band. CBIS is closer to losing it than MJNA is. And then we've got GRNH and hemp already setting lower highs and lower lows. So a sell the news event, and we will see how the rest of the next couple of months go. But I do anticipate that it's going to be lackluster without much catalyst for the upside. And again, there will be individual names that can go to the upside, but it won't be the majority. It won't even be half. It will be the minority of names that do see some nice upside moves from here. And this is all going off history and experience, and so far that has worked. So hope to not have more hate mail. I appreciate you guys watching, and make sure and check out the site, mjipo.com. I am really looking forward to 2 weeks from now, and I'm setting cash aside, doing research, and I'll have that video up this weekend.